You are listening to the Primetime Podcast with your hosts, Bryant Chisel and Jake Jorgensen. Hello, everybody. Welcome into Week 10's Primetime Rewind. I'm here with Jake, the loser, and Lane. We got Lane this week. Congrats on the big dub, buddy. And by big dub, I mean big dub.
Battle of the shitters that week.
Matchup of the week, baby. Yeah, so it was an eventful week of fantasy football this week, I think I'd say. There were a couple really bad scores, and there were a couple pretty darn good scores. So we can crack right into it, huh? Let's see who the biggest blowout was. Is it our game, Jake? 25?
I hope not. I hope it's... let's get it out.
No, I think it's Manthai's,
It looks
right?
like...
oh, it is ours. By just a couple points. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. All right. Yeah, this was a game, Jake. I'm not gonna lie. I don't feel good about this win. I mean, obviously, I feel better than Jake does. I'm sure because, dude.
Yes, you do feel better.
The sub 70 is horrendous.
That is crazy.
I mean, I guess you kind of expected it though because you didn't have any of your Browns this week to carry you. So.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah, my team stunk. I don't deserve this win, but funny enough, I would have beaten two other teams this week, so I mean, how bad could it really have been, I guess. Benching Chuba for J.K. Dobbins hurt really badly. Because Chuba played, it was a Germany game, I think, so he played at like 8:30 a.m. And I'm watching that game, and I'm just watching him absolutely cook, and I'm like, damn, hopefully Dobbins has a good game. And Dobbins did not have that good of a game. Spoiler alert. So, yeah, you win some, you lose some. Thankfully, it didn't end up mattering. If I make the right start-sit decision there, my score looks a lot more reasonable at like 115. So close. But that's struggle of being a GM. Justin Herbert had a pretty good game. I'm not worried about Jaden Daniels. Pittsburgh's defense is so nasty. And everybody else was just kind of bad. Between the bad matchups, a couple bad bye weeks, I guess. I don't know. Olave and Mike Evans being hurt kind of kills my team, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Having to start Khalil Shakir every week, basically, is not quite it.
Sometimes it just happens.
It does. Thanks, Cade, by the way, for Khalil Shakir, because Keon Coleman, I traded him Coleman like before the season started, I think. I don't remember what I got. It was like a 12th round pick or something like that. It wasn't anything crazy. And Keon Coleman's looked all right sometimes, but he did not play this week, and I would have been screwed. Well, I guess I would have played Xavier Legette.
I mean, overall, like your team still has some names out there. They just didn't perform. That's really what it came down to.
Yeah, is what it is, I guess. And Jake, well, every time Rodgers he only got sacked 3 times. I swear it was more than that. It felt like
more.
It felt like all the time. I check our score, and we're projected to tie, or it was a close projection for most of the noon game. And I'm looking at Rodgers' score, just eat another sack. He just whoa, hold on, where's the button?
We need a new soundboard button there.
No, eat another sack. I could clip that. That's actually a pretty good one. Yeah. 1 point for Rodgers is definitely not what you want to see, especially against Arizona. I know Arizona's defense has looked, if I remember correctly, Arizona's defense lately has looked a lot better. But, yeah, I mean, they're still 18th against quarterbacks, and you're not expecting Rodgers' worst performance of the year. So,
no.
I don't know.
Yeah, this was brutal. I went into this one, obviously the Browns that I just started last week were all on bye. That hurt a little bit, but I don't know, everything. I mean, I felt really good about benching Caleb Williams, and I felt good that it was the right call. Yeah, you should. Instantly.
It's funny, your quarterback scored 1 point, and you made the right start-sit decision.
Yep, I was about to say that, yes. I was telling everybody that I completely made the right call by starting Rodgers over my other options. And I also, during that game, was looking at the waiver wire to see, and I don't think there's any other option that really did good at all. So just like, kind of unfortunate there. In my head, I was thinking okay, first of all, the Cardinals are actually better than normal this year, so it's not like this was just a super gimme. But I did feel like this was a game where Rodgers, if the Jets are going to do something this year, which it kind of already looked like they were out of it, they would have had to start the run in this game. And it looks like they're officially dead now. But,
Yeah, I agree.
And
I
then
can't believe
just
Caleb Williams got sacked 9 times.
I mean, they got their offensive coordinator fired from that game. And
Yeah,
they could have got their
they
head
did.
coach fired.
The Patriots had like 15 sacks before that on the year, I think. Like,
You said the Patriots did?
yeah. 9 sacks in a single game? Are you kidding me? How many points did the Patriots defense have? Must
I
have
don't
been
know, but
ridiculous.
that's Manti era Patriots defense.
that is Manti era Patriots defense. That's a good callback for anybody that
It is.
for
It
anybody
is
that
in the
was
Dynasty League,
there.
but
Only 18?
yeah,
Ow.
that's fake. That's
The
fake.
Bears only had 3 points. I guess that's it. There were no turnovers. Must have been, huh? That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at this, and obviously, I didn't. What you said is where it was a close matchup for most of the noon game, and after that, it felt like I didn't have a whole lot to look forward to. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Thursday night it started out where I felt really good about Gesicki, and he started out hot in that game. Actually, he was getting a lot of targets. I think he ended the day with 9. I'll take a look to see if that was the case. Yeah, 9 targets, only 4 catches.
Did you see the? I don't remember what his name was. The wide receiver on their team, that number 89, the big white dude that looks exactly like Mike Gesicki.
Yeah.
He looks like a tight end. He's huge. And
I did see that
Gesicki's
guy.
what, 88, I think. I was watching the
Something like
game.
that, yeah.
And I saw that big, tall, white dude score a touchdown. I was like, son of a bitch, right? I was pissed off because I was like, oh, big, tall, white guy on the Bengals. Looks like a tight end. Gotta be Gesicki. And I look, I'm like, that's 89. Who is this backup tight end? I love you. And then I find out he's actually a wide receiver. He's like the biggest wide receiver in the league. He's like 6'9" or something like that. He's huge.
That's funny.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
And I was about to say that I think they have another guy that looks like him, but maybe that was the guy I was thinking of.
That's
Must
funny.
have
They
been him.
might. I mean, they might. I don't know the
I know
Bengals
that-
backups.
Yeah, I don't either off the top of my head, but
They have that Eric
That's-
All, don't they?
yes, they do have him.
Is that his name, Eric All?
I'm sure. Is it Erick?
Oh.
If I'm remembering that off the top of my head,
Oh,
maybe
is it?
not.
Oh, yeah, you
For some
got
reason,
it.
I'm thinking that. Is it actually?
Yeah, I mean, he's not a white dude, but I could see it.
I think I've seen that name on the Dynasty waiver wire.
Yeah,
just kind of
Probably seeing me pick him up a while back, you know.
Probably it's on my radar now, but yeah, I mean, so on Thursday I was like, damn, I really should have started Mark Andrews. I got a little fancy there. I felt like this week I had to get a little fancy
I mean, I get
in
it.
this matchup.
Mark Andrews had. It's not like he had a big week. If he had a big week last week, then I'd be roasting you. But I don't know. I would have done something similar potentially.
It's tough with I like Mark Andrews. It's tough with the Ravens. I thought that I predicted how much passing the Bengals were gonna have to do in that game, and it just Jamar Chase got everything. That's what happened.
This is ridiculous. You know what, Jake? I'm actually kind of pissed right now. Are you watching my screen share, or is it just Lane?
I'm watching it now.
Show me which week I traded Mark Andrews to you.
Probably 4, maybe 5.
You look you on the side of history, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 5. Could have been 4.
Oh,
It could have been 4. Somewhere
It might have
here.
been 5 because it might have been like, oh, we got 9, now I'm trading.
I think that's what it was. I think you're right. I think it was 5. Look at that.
Yeah,
That's despicable.
that was what I was looking for. Was like just any upside.
That's despicable.
It's true, but yeah. And then you look at my team, and CD also. This
Oh,
is exactly what worried me with Dak's injury. I think he said he's out for the year. Well, I'm pretty sure
They
he said
did
he's out
say
for the
that,
year.
yes.
So that's terrible. And then Rico Dowdle didn't even have a huge game.
Yeah, Philly's
type of
defense is
situation.
pretty solid. At least the run defense is. But that entire Dallas offense, you have a good chunk of Dallas on your team.
I do.
CD,
I feel
Dowdle,
like I've done that a bunch of years. Well, with CD, I only traded for last year, but
right.
I feel like I generally have a lot. I've had Dak a couple seasons now.
Even
I want to say.
Brandon Aubrey. I think I'm downgrading all 3. Not that it really matters for a kicker, and Brandon Aubrey's a stud. But at least CD for sure. He can be okay rest of the season, but he's not going to be CD, right? He's gonna. I don't know. I'd rather start Tillman and Reed. Not JMO though. You can start CD over JMO.
I did start JMO this week. I pretty much had to with some of the buys. Obviously, once Stephon Diggs went out, that was a tough one, and then
Yeah.
Dak got injured shortly later. So the team did fall apart recently, which was unfortunate. But this is why. So it's the trade deadline this weekend. I've been in conversations with a few people, but I have to look at my team and assess because last year I was a buyer. I was trying to go all in last year. I had the Keenan all in nickname. This season, it's tough to want to go all in and send picks when, first of all,
Your roster kind of
my
stinks.
projection is projected to like 100, and you see teams like George's team or Cade's, whoever else's were. It's very accurate. And then I also look, it has to be buying from somebody that's at the bottom right now too, so it's also limited in that way. But
you can buy from me, buddy.
I could, yeah. And also this matchup, I really wanted to win last week because I would have felt good about the playoff. I still feel pretty solid about the playoffs, but this one would have secured it actually because it would have pushed you back another game and sent me another.
Oh
game
yeah,
forward. This would have been a huge win.
I think it would have been statistically over.
Yeah,
it would have been really close. I would have had to win out, and you would have had to lose out. I think if you would have beat me here.
So yeah, it would have definitely been nice.
It'd be hilarious if I still caught you, even though I traded away Kyron. We'll touch on that later.
I am scared about that a little bit, but we'll see.
I don't think so.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, when you score under 70, it's
I get that.
There's a little alert. Like I woke up.
The fact that it's possible for you to score sub 70, I guess, should worry you.
Yeah. That's all I got for this one.
Fair enough. Yep. Same here. All right. Next up, I believe I said was Manthi and Greg. Yeah, I mean, when you have Jamar Chase on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. When you have Jamar Chase on Thursday. Oh, Greg was sweating it out for a little bit on Sunday, though, because I remember him messaging the group chat saying that he deserves to be roasted if he loses or something stupid like that. And then I looked at his team, and I'm like, you're projected to win by 10. I guess it's a little close, but, oh me. So, I don't know. I mean, he pulled out a big win here. Manthi's team, CJ Stroud, once again, bad. Matt Stafford, worse, though, so fair enough. Fair enough to Manthi. His bench is horrible. Hey, Sam Laporta had a good week, though. Has he been better? Nope. Not really.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
That was a game that Goff threw 5 interceptions in.
Too. That's a good point. Stroud threw 3, though.
That was a
only 2. Never mind.
Game.
I thought he threw 3. Whatever. Yeah, interesting game indeed. Yeah, really entertaining game. Can't believe Detroit pulled that off. Terry McLaurin. Yeah, I mean, everybody else on Manthi's team was kind of fine. I mean, Justin Tucker missed an extra point, which kind of killed his day. Yeah. Manthi's team was okay.
Justin Tucker just missing all these kicks now these days.
He's washed.
Really hate to see it.
him and Evan McPherson, Manthi's guys.
It's how I feel watching Rodgers now. Not that Rodgers is completely atrocious, but
he's pretty bad.
He's ruining his stats. He's absolutely ruining his stats.
Yeah, he's been pretty bad. I don't know. I mean, this was Greg's team. I mean, without Jamar Chase, his team really wasn't that good either. So Baker Mayfield had a bad game. It's the Niners, though. The Niners look pretty good. I think there were a lot of Jake situations at QB this week, it looks like, because Sam Darnold,
yeah,
he didn't make the technically correct call, but at the same time, it cost him 2 points, so who cares? And he had Jamar Chase. Yeah, I don't know. Everybody else was fine, I guess. Aaron Jones got banged up. It sounds like he's going to play this week. He should be fine. Good call, benching. Oh, I thought he was the one. I guess good. I thought he had Josh Downs. Must not. Well, whoever has Josh Downs, hopefully they. Did you hear the news about that, Jake?
Well, I swear
the Anthony Richardson news.
But I don't. Oh, that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He's back, baby.
Yeah.
I gotta ask Trenton how he feels about.
We're alive. We are alive.
Your take is back.
I can't believe they're doing that. All right. Next up, I don't care about that one. Nick and Lemons. Nick B's team is back, baby. I mean, it's probably a little too late, but 3-7. Yeah, I mean, Kyler had a pretty good game. Call of Duty season even doesn't matter. Malik Neighbors kind of struggled, but hey, you hear that the Giants might sit down Daniel Jones? Because if they do that, Malik Neighbors might be in trouble.
I did not hear that actually.
I wouldn't be surprised, I guess.
So it's not necessarily because of his play. His play has been bad, don't get me wrong. I think they have, is it Drew Lock, I think is their backup. The whole reason is because supposedly if Daniel Jones gets injured to the point where he doesn't pass a physical in the offseason next year, then his contract the next year becomes fully guaranteed. So there are talks that they're going to sit him down. It's I think it was Derek Carr situation from a year or two ago. Where it sounds like it seems relatively likely. I think Shefty reported today that he thinks Daniel Jones played his last snap in New York. So it's seeming increasingly likely that Daniel Jones is basically done for the year, in which case I'd be pretty worried about Malik Neighbors. I know he's fantastic, but you just don't know if Drew Lock's going to hyper-target him the same way Daniel Jones was. Something to monitor, but McCaffrey seems to be back. I think he was on a pretty good pitch count, so I would expect that he kind of grows into that a little more and continues to be Christian McCaffrey as long as he can stay healthy. Everybody else set. Team better week than usual, but hey, okay, I gotta say this: Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow,
quarterback situation. Yeah.
Hey, that's 2 weeks in a row that Joe Burrow is the QB1 on the week, and Lemons didn't start him. Huh. And the Chiefs should have lost that game too. Kind of pisses me off. You guys see that? That was crazy.
Yes, they should have definitely lost.
Yeah. Brandon was texting me. He's like, wow, Chiefs finally lost. Denver's going to win. Then I look over at the game. I had the red zone up. Look over at the game, and I see the Broncos lining up for the game-winning field goal. Chip shot, right? It's like 30-something yarder. Basically an extra point. And the Chiefs blocked it. There were so many guys in there, too. It was crazy. You watched the line just collapsed.
Instantly. Yeah. Christ. People were like, they had some conspiracy theories with that left side of that offensive line.
Yeah.
Or the kicking team. Yeah.
I could see that. Also, Younghoe Koo has been missing a ton of field goals. I think I heard he missed like 5 field goals in the past 3 weeks or something like that. 5 in the last 5 weeks. I don't know. Something crazy.
Was it like 3 last week?
Yeah. He's missed quite a few. Now, I believe 2 recently have been blocked, and he doinked a 50-yarder, so it's kind of hard to give him too much flack. But it was to the point where the Falcons, I guess, came out and say that they're sticking with him. I guess that's the report right here. Like the head coach had to say that he's going to stay their kicker. So I guess that's where they're at with him. Trouble in paradise. All right.
I just realized Anthony Richardson is actually rostered still by Nick here.
Oh yeah, baby, let's go. Start him. Oh, probably not over Kyler. Is Kyler on bye? He is! Let's go! Let's go!
We're getting Anthony Richardson start.
We're back! Where's my elite quarterback?
Start Burrow over Mahomes.
I got a dub over Joe Flacco. Anthony Richardson. Let's go. I have to fix that in post. I'm not going to. That's way too much work. Just pretend that says Anthony Richardson for all the listeners out there. For all the 3 listeners out there. Just pretend. Also, I guess one last thing on Lemons' side is Hawkinson is back. So, honestly, I'd consider flexing him.
I mean, realistically, when they don't have like an off week like last week, I don't know how they barely beat the Jags, basically, but
yeah, ridiculous.
Since they're gonna have like good weeks coming up, you might as well.
How do you feel about that, Lane? As a Packers and Jaguars fan, how do you feel about that? Jaguars lost to Minnesota 7-12.
Honestly, I have no expectations anymore. I'm just under the assumption that they're always gonna lose.
Is Trevor still the QB of the future?
If he can stay healthy for longer than a third of the season.
So you would say no to bringing in Mr. Unlimited.
Bruh, there's enough depression going around in that city. And the fan base.
Hey, Pittsburgh's doing all right with him.
Unlimited.
Let's go. All right, that's about it for this one. Oh, Zeke had .2. I just want to mention that because Lemons like
Still
start him.
rostered.
Yeah, still rostered. Hey, what if Rico Dowdle gets hurt? Didn't they bench him for Dalvin
I don't
Cook
know if
last week?
That sounds right.
I'm pretty sure
Probably.
Dalvin Cook got brought up off the practice squad.
oh,
Yeah,
he
week
did.
9.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I don't know. And Zeke fumbled. Classic. All right, next up, Brandon and George. We haven't done this one yet, right? I don't think so.
No.
No.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, both these teams had pretty solid weeks. George's is pretty average. I mean, especially when you consider Lamar had 43. If Lamar has a more normal game, 20, 30, you're pretty disappointed here. Everybody else kind of disappointed. Brandon's team has been popping off basically all month. Right, this is 3 weeks in a row now, I think, where his team, not only his starting lineup has been fantastic, but his bench has been darn good.
Bijan's back.
Bijan is so
Bijan's been good.
back. Yeah, Atlanta's, well, I guess it's more Atlanta's back, right? He's had some darn good matchups too.
Good shit. He's put up 5 weeks in a row of 20 plus.
Yeah, Bijan is super back. Kelsey's back. Cooper Kupp's back. Zay Flowers might be dead. We'll see. I don't know. Jalen Hurts still gives Brandon heart attacks, but when you're playing against Dallas, I guess it doesn't matter. I think Jalen Hurts got benched in that game in like the start of the fourth quarter. Pretty sure. I remember seeing there was like 12 minutes left or something like that. There was
Wasn't
a
he
lot
hurt?
of time. No, he was not hurt. They just benched him because they were clapping their cheeks. Yeah, it was ridiculous. Because I had Hurts on my dynasty team, so I was watching that game. And I think there was over 10 minutes in the fourth quarter yet when I saw the backup. And I don't remember who their backup is. It was someone that I recognized the name of at least. But, yeah. So Jalen Hurts basically didn't play the entire fourth quarter and still put up 30 points. So that's pretty good to see. But at the same time, could have had more fantasy points, Is Calvin Ridley back? 3 weeks in a row. That's NBA Jam rules, right? On fire.
Yeah.
Plays against Minnesota next week. Could crack the lineup, honestly. Over Zay or Garrett.
Against Minnesota's tough, though, I will say.
Minnesota, you can throw on them, baby. Because you're going to have to.
Mooney would actually be a decent spot.
Mooney's trash. No, you're right. Well, Drake London's
Oh,
back.
against Denver? Maybe.
I think Drake London's been hurt, right?
Nah.
Oh.
Wasn't he back last week?
Oh, did he? Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. I know he missed a game or two. At least I thought he did. Maybe I'm wrong.
He did get injured, I think, 2 weeks ago, and
Okay.
I'm not sure if
He might not
I
have
think he
missed
was
any
out
time.
that game. I think he was just out part of most of that game, and then he came back.
okay.
I think.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
James Conner rattled off another good game. He's been cooking. Yeah, Brandon's team is nice. His problem is he can't fit everybody in his starting lineup, and some of his guys don't have those games. Then you look at your bench, and you're like, oh, I should have started this guy.
Yep.
Should have started Calvin Ridley. Cortland Sutton, baby. Lane, that's your guy. Can't believe you can have like 3 weeks of 20 plus, basically, and just goose. Pacheco sounds like he's going to be back soon, too. I could see the Chiefs kind of babying him, though, since they're undefeated somehow.
Somehow is right.
Yeah, and George's side of the ball, his team's all right. A.J. Brown's pretty solid. Jefferson had a bad week, but he'll be fine. Jacksonville's, everybody knows Jacksonville's a lockdown defense, so everybody understands why Jefferson had sub 10. Isn't that right, Laner?
Yes.
Yeah. Brees Hall, I don't know. They got clapped so hard. Ramondre, bad. Yeah, I don't know. Trouble in paradise at running back for George a little bit there after this week. Juwan Jennings has been pretty solid lately. I guess this week. I didn't realize he hasn't played. Who's the other guy? I thought somebody in San Fran was catching balls. Was it Ricky Pearsall? There we
Pearsall.
go. That's what I'm thinking.
Pearsall.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, for as long as Ayuk is out, and he's done for the year, if I remember correctly, Ron Jennings
He's
should
done
be
for the year, yeah.
Jennings should be fine. We'll see how much works Debo gets worked in there because obviously he exists and he's coming back from injury. So Ron Jennings can probably
Well,
be flex though rest of the season. You'd think.
hopefully T's back next week too.
Higgins, yeah, they were talking about it. I think. Yeah, he was limited today. It's a quad injury.
They'll say he's back, and then he'll be listed as doubtful on Saturday night, and then he won't play right before kickoff.
Yeah, he's so frustrating.
That's how it's.
They said he's
Yeah,
day to
but-
day, I believe. So we'll see. I don't know. That's all messed up. All right. Well, I guess matchup of the week now. Huh? Stinkfest of the week. Wow, you guys are lucky that Jake and I had our game because I'd be roasting both of you right now. Oh man, the Jared Goof stack. He threw 5 picks. Yeah.
He was goffing on himself, dude.
What was his score at halftime? It had to have been negative, right? Because he threw like 3 of those in the first half and had no touchdowns, right?
That sounds right to me.
Had to
Yeah.
have been like -3 or something, maybe even worse. I don't know.
He probably threw 4 in the first.
I
I
mean-
wasn't watching that game.
No,
but
he
did
threw
a bit,
3 in the
probably
first
4.
half.
I
That
think it was
great.
3. One of them was a
To
Hail
be
Mary,
fair,
right?
yeah, the third one was just a Hail Mary with like 10 seconds left in the
Yep.
first half. So it was like, I mean, it just sucks that it's going to count against you, even though it's just
Yeah.
like, all right, whatever.
I also heard from Lions fans that, because I didn't catch all of that game, I heard that a couple of the picks kind of bounced off receivers' hands. Bit Jordan Love-esque. So I can't confirm that, but that's what I had heard. So, the stats look a little worse than they might have been for Goff. Everybody else was pretty okay. I mean, Amon-Ra was good. Josh Downs, hey, totally fine. Might have to sit him down. Oh, you have Josh Downs. Might have to sit him
I
down,
didn't
though.
think about it. I'm going to have to this week.
Well, you got
Debo will
Debo on the
probably
bench.
start.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Derrick Henry always gets that touchdown.
Well,
Safest
actually-
bet in Vegas.
Downs might have to play.
Ooh,
Devonta Smith has just been
yeah,
so iffy lately.
you might be right. Downs had some good games with Anthony Richardson, if I remember correctly.
I think I said not to start Devontae Smith actually in this. I'm trying to think who. I think I might have said Addison though last week. I can't
don't
remember who it
remember.
was.
We,
Oh, I think it was Hopkins. It was Hopkins.
Oh,
that
probably.
I said to start. I want to say
he would have been the guy.
wouldn't have been that
right?
great.
It may be
Yeah, right.
Hopkins plays over down. I don't know. Hopkins wasn't great, but obviously the Chiefs' offense never really got going. Buffalo's pretty tough though too. So, starts its decisions there. You could probably play Downs, even with Richardson. I mean, there's Richardson sprinkled in here, and he's been okay. You're just
And
hoping he
they're
doesn't drop a 1.
They are against the Jets, too.
Oh,
mean-
that's a good point. The Jets are such a weird team because their defense is supposed to be really, really good. But they did just get absolutely hammered,
And they got rid of Salah.
and they got rid of Salah. Their defense hasn't really been the same.
And Sauce Gardner
since.
fell off.
And Sauce Gardner
did.
fell off. Yeah, that's tough. On Cade's side of the ball, I don't know. It's kind of the opposite, where his quarterback was one of his best players, even though it wasn't really that good, and everybody else was horrible, apart from Tracy. Tracy was pretty good. I think he's on.
It was
bye this
just
week, though.
Saquon's fault. It was absolutely just Saquon's fault.
I mean,
He's
at
been
that
carrying Cade all year, and then
that
he
just
did
means
nothing.
it's Jalen Hurts' fault because I think he had 2 pushes. Push. I can never remember what it is.
Push.
Push. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, he had to start Xavier Worthy, so that's how you know you're in trouble. Xavier Worthy and DJ Moore are not guys you want to be starting right now, turns out.
You got to be scared when Nico's back next week, too. Or he should be back
If
this
he's
week,
back,
right?
he will practice this week, and the expectation is that he will play on Monday. But he plays on Monday. How badly do you
Ooh.
want to risk it? Because if he doesn't play on Monday, you are dead. It's the Cowboys, too. He doesn't have any other Cowboys in his team. Yeah. I guess he has Dalton Schultz that he could potentially flex as a backup plan. That might be the move.
That's a good idea.
There you go, Cade. Shout out. I don't know who you play this week. Hopefully it's not me because I gave you good advice there. Yeah, that's about it for this one. I don't know. Both your teams kind of sucked ass. Keami Fairbairn missed a bunch of field goals too, I think. But he popped that 50-plus yarder in at the end of the game to. Oh wait, no, he missed that 50-plus
No,
yarder.
he missed it.
Yeah, no,
he
he
missed
missed.
it. It's not close. I don't
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Might have been like
Just two.
55 plus. It was a far one.
It was a far one because
58 maybe.
they flipped the field and then Detroit didn't really have to go that far.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right. Any closing words on this one, Laner? Got anything to say to Cade?
We're both trash. We're both trash right now. How the fuck are we fourth and third? That was
that's
just embarrassing
ridiculous.
show him,
Yeah,
but oh well.
At least with Jake and I, we know our teams are trash. I know Jake's 6-4, but I mean, deep down,
I
Jake,
felt
Jake
I was
knows.
actually ahead. I was ahead on that, calling my team trash a couple weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, exactly. At least everybody knows that Jake's team is a fraud. Whereas with you guys, I mean, come on, you're both third and fourth
least-
place teams.
I mean, maybe Jonathan Brooks can do something.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath. At least not the first couple weeks.
Fucking Kobe.
It'd be cool though if he could. For you, I have Chuba, so fuck Jonathan Brooks. Oh man. All right, let's check the standings quick. Greg top of the league with that big ol' 1400 points for. Thank you, Jamar Chase. George, and 4, 7, and 3 teams. That's going to be an interesting shakeout to end the year. Who's going to get their bye weeks?
This is why our game was actually.
Yeah, our game was
huge.
huge.
And you know what?
Yeah. Could you imagine if your team was 7-3 right now?
I know.
That'd be hilarious.
I imagined it last week. It didn't happen.
Never imagine it again.
Yeah.
That's the secret.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're 6-4, and Brandon's 5-5. Funny enough, so I'm 4-6. Then we have Nick, and then Preston and Lemons are dead. I don't think they're statistically dead at this point because there's 4 more weeks, I think. Yeah, there's 4 there's 4 more games, so technically they could still catch Brandon and potentially Jake, I guess, depending on scoring. But they're all but dead. Nick B's team isn't that bad. He just made a trade to make himself worse, so I would probably count him out. And I made a trade to make my team worse. I'm only 1 game back from the playoffs, but Brandon's team is so good. I see it more likely that I catch you, Jake, than I catch Brandon.
You're right, actually. You're absolutely right.
And in order to do that, you currently have the tiebreaker on me on points 4. Now, if I'm catching you, I'd expect that I maybe nudge that out of you, but I'd still have to pick 2 games up out of you out of 4, which means that you're basically best case scenario for me is you lose out and I go 50-50, and I can't see my team going 50-50. So I made the decision to basically, I don't know, not quite give up because I've still got some pieces, but my team is definitely handicapped as to what it was last week. So in my opinion, Jake, you're going to be the 6th seed. I don't think anybody's good enough to catch you at this point. So.
No, I'm interested just to see who I play the next 4 weeks, just to see who it is.
You want to see?
Let's see.
I got you.
I've got Greg, Brandon.
Loss, win.
Lemons week 13.
Question mark. Yeah,
Okay,
so Lemons is an
13,
auto win.
You'd think it has to be an auto win. Absolutely.
If you lose the head, I might actually still catch you because what's my schedule?
I looked at the live projection. It's 100 to.
Because I have Lemons too, and I have
something.
Manthai. I could still catch you, Jake.
Shouldn't be stalling. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't need Kyron to beat Lemons and Manthai.
Yeah, that's true.
Unless Lemon starts Joe Burrow, in which case I'll need Kyron. I don't know. The way I see it is if I make the playoffs, I'm out round 1. But I don't know. I mean, out of the top 4 teams, I don't know. It might just be recency bias, but Lane and Cade scare me the least because their teams can stink. Greg's team scares me the most out of those top 4 teams because Jamar Chase can put up 60 points any given week. George's team is probably the best, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem to really work out for him. Brandon's team scares me the most out of all the playoff teams. I think his team's the best, which is hilarious because he's 5-5 and I'm only 1 game behind him. Really funny. Not for shiz though.
Nah, I'm just different. I'm gonna be a winner here.
You're a stud, dude. I hope you do win, Lane. I hope you do. All right, players of the week: Joe Burrow on Lemons' bench, back-to-back weeks. We talked about that. Bijan, this might be his first time this year that he's RB1. Congrats to Bijan. He's super back. Brandon's team, 32.4. Jamar Chase, as you do, 64.4. Travis Kelce, 20.4 for Brandon. Kicker was Joshua Carty for the Rams. I have no idea who that is. Is it Matt Gay was their starter? He hurt or something? I have no idea. But he had 19
Never heard
points.
that
He's a
name
free
either.
agent. Yeah, Josh
Um,
Carty. Karty.
Playboy Cardi.
Yeah. There you go. Pick him up, Lane. You can change your team name. McPherson stinks anyways. Philadelphia's defense had 22.5 on Brandon's team. So those are the best players of the week. We got some stuff to talk about for the transactions, that's for sure. There were a handful of trades being done. I guess we can look at pickups first. That would be basically 10th, and don't think there was much going on. Taysom Hill got picked up. Shit, I play against Cade this year. So, oh man. You won't start him over Tucker Kraft unless Tucker Kraft gets hurt. In case I'm dead. Dalton Schultz, cuts. Estime got picked up by yours truly. Can't believe nobody wanted him. That's pretty much it. All that matters. All right, we got 3 trades. So first trade, I sent Mike Evans to Cade for a 3. Mike Evans was injured. Sounds like he's going to be back this week. Still a bit questionable. Oh, this is week 11. They're on bye this week. Never mind. Sounds like he's going to be back their next game. It'll be week 12 against the Giants. So if Mike Evans gets back, I can't see any other scenario other than him feasting with no Chris Godwin. And Baker's still playing the way he is, which is kind of crazy based on his weapons. So good trade for Cade, assuming Evans doesn't re-aggravate that injury.
I think it's a good trade for you too. I think that third round pick's pretty big there, actually.
Yeah, I'm very psyched about it. Next up, Brinkman and Greg popped a little trade in here. Brinkman sent Drake London over to Greg for a second and Deontay. Deontay's just kind of a toss in at that point. On the Ravens, he's borderline droppable. So basically Drake London for a 2. Good trade for Nick. I heard Greg and I were in conversations, the other day for wide receivers. So when I heard he was dealing with Nick B, I figured, okay, you got London, and I guessed a 2, and I was right. I said a 2 or a 3, one of the 2, and there you go. So pretty solid trade there. I don't know. I mean, seems like a fair deal, and it also cements the fact that Nick isn't winning shit. I don't know what if you're Nick B, what are you doing with Christian McCaffrey? Letting it ride for next year?
I asked that question a couple of weeks ago about McCaffrey.
I'm
you
sure
kind of
you
have
did.
to wait.
Whore.
I was at the time very interested in McCaffrey.
Yeah, still are.
Still
I'm sure.
interested, but I can't justify with this team right now paying up too much for somebody with what's going on with like Diggs being out and
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb, his stock. So that's tough. But yeah, I mean, if I were Nick, I would be trading McCaffrey, and I think the season's over for him.
Well, I
That's
know
how
someone
it
was
started.
interested in McCaffrey and hitting him up, and I was told that he's asking for too much. I don't know. I mean, it's Christian McCaffrey, and basically, in my opinion, if a playoff team trades for Christian McCaffrey, they immediately become a top 2 favorite, depending on who they are. The only person that doesn't might be you, Jake. And even then, I wouldn't count you out.
Sad, my running backs are my best part of my team right now.
Exactly. That's
Which
the hard
isn't
part,
even.
right?
Yeah.
All right, the last trade was with me and George. I sent him Kyron for a 1 and a 13 and gave him back my latest 2 picks, which were 14 and 15. I got Roma Dunze too, but I asked him who he was going to cut. And added him to my side because might as well. So, I don't know. I feel pretty good about it. There were a lot of talks. This trade was kind of like pulling teeth for a little while. George and I had a deal worked out at one point for it was a whole different deal. There was an elite wide receiver coming my way and pick swaps all over the place. And then George got cold feet, didn't want to do it anymore, which in my opinion was probably the right move for him. Because I was already talking to other people about flipping that elite player for a first or more to some other people. So that was yeah, I was getting a stiffy thinking about it. 2 first-round picks would have been. Oh,
Yeah, I still like the I like this deal
dream
for
is
you.
dead.
Sorry, is Rome kind of just gonna sit there in case you really like something out of
Yeah,
Chicago next year? Like, I don't even know what the situation is with like Keenan Allen if he's gonna
yeah.
be there next year. I actually don't know. Maybe he is there next year. I'm not entirely sure, but
I
I can
think
see their
the
team.
contract has them both there, I think, for another year. Could be wrong. I haven't checked, but it does sound like DJ Moore doesn't really want to be there, and Keenan Allen's lost step. I see a world where one of those two guys is gone, but I think Rome was. Yeah, I mean he was a 9th-round pick. Yeah, maybe. I'm not expecting to keep him, but I get it's an option, right? If they do get rid of one or both of the weapons, I wouldn't think both would go. I would think maybe they'd try to trade DJ Moore or something and keep Keenan or cut Keenan and keep Moore. I don't know. There's a world where that happens, but he's not currently in my plans. I considered cutting him this week when I needed to make a move. So the only reason I didn't was because I did check where he was drafted, and I was like, yeah, screw it. I had that same thought you brought up, right? I was like, yeah, there's a world where Chicago,
Yeah,
loses a guy, and because Rome looks good on the field, he's a talented wide receiver. But
there's
anywho,
a great on paper team. Ryan Poles is good at the on paper roster.
yeah, well, they just
He's
fired
not good at picking the right. Yeah, he's not
Yeah.
good at picking the right coaching staff.
They should have canned the whole coaching staff when they got Caleb Williams. I don't know what they were doing keeping Flus. Just start fresh, man. I don't know. It's ridiculous. Whatever. Classic Bears, right?
It's tough to like. You have to decide whether you're going to want a new coach for your quarterback or or like they could have fired him last year. This
Right.
was last year, but he could have. But then he's like, no, give me one more chance with a first overall pick quarterback.
Exactly.
Could have worked. Did not work.
Yeah, with ridiculous. So I don't know. Well, it's classic Bears. I wouldn't be surprised if the trades, if there's another trade or two before the deadline. It sounds like there are some people working out some deals from what I had heard. I was in a lot of people's ears this past week. So I heard many a deal being discussed. My DMs are definitely still open. I guess for anybody wondering, I'm planning on keeping Kamara, Jaden Daniels, and potentially what's his face? Potentially J.K. Dobbins. I haven't decided yet. So anybody else is fair game, and even J.K. Dobbins might still be fair game. But Kamara would be tough to get. Jaden Daniels could be tough to get. If you send a keeper back, it'd be okay. I don't know. Anyways, my DMs are open. Shameless plug. Hit me up. Saturday's the deadline. Reminder for everybody. I know I sent it in the group chat and talked about it last show, but I want to say it again. All right. Matchup previews. We can kind of eat through these quick. I have Brandon. I'm fully chalking this up as a loss. I'm expecting everybody else to agree.
I agree. I do agree.
Yeah.
All right. So far it's Dobbs and Shakir, and I currently have Javonte in there. I'll probably swap that out with Estime. Like I said, I have considered Rome in this matchup. I've got some tough bye weeks this week, so probably going to see Estime pop into that flex spot. But other than that, not a very good roster. Brandon's team is nasty, and his bench is nastier. So yeah, he'll get a dub here. If he doesn't, my team is back.
That is true.
All right. Next matchup, we got Manthai and Lane. So, wow, the projections are pretty close on this one, Laner. This is not good. You know, Jared Goff is a big problem for you, so you might have to look into alternative.
Look at that Tila.
Yeah. Well,
It's over.
He's not playing. I think they
It's
already ruled him
over
out.
for him.
Well, on the bright side, you can move him into your IR spot and pick up a real quarterback. Derek Carr's out there, I think.
Oh, the real quarterback.
Send in the car, baby. Geno Smith is projected for 16 points, apparently.
Kirk O'Chains.
I would not be playing him against San Fran. Wow, all these matchups are bad. Bo Nix is probably the best matchup. Or Jameis. Maybe you go Jameis, following Jake's footsteps. Nope, Saints defense.
Sadly,
is
I picked
apparently
that 5-point week.
Yeah. Yeah, you did, baby. I don't know. If I had to pick a quarterback on their waiver wire, it's probably Bo Nix.
Just a series of unfortunate events here.
Yeah. Tough. Everybody else, Josh Downs, question mark. Might play him anyways. Devonta Smith, question mark. I don't know. I mean, you're probably playing him, right? Not like you really have any other choice.
When you're looking at my bench, I mean, you kind of have to. If anything, like
He's a good wide receiver. He has those games. Yeah, I don't know. You don't have too many options.
Yeah, I mean, like, of course, Debo will get moved up here, but
yeah, maybe Hopkins comes in, but I don't know if he'd go in for Downs or Smith. Tough call.
that'd be
Maybe it's
tough call.
Njoku. Maybe he just flex Njoku.
He'd be on. Oh wait, no, that was last week. He's on bye.
I like Njoku.
Evan Ingram's been pretty good too. Detroit's a tough matchup, but well, with no T-Law, I don't know. T-Law didn't play last week though, too, right?
No, it was Mac Jones.
Yeah, he did all right with Mac Jones. So it looks like Evan Ingram's just kind of that guy for Jacksonville, regardless who the quarterback is. Tough one. There's a lot of decisions there. Manti side of the ball, as long as he Stroud plays Dallas this week, though. This could be a get-right game for Stroud. I don't hate it.
That's what I was kind of thinking. His projection, they finally adjusted for how Stroud's doing this year.
Yeah, Stafford's got the Patriots, too, coming off a 9-sack game against the Bears. Yeah. I'd probably personally start Stafford, but I see a world where Stroud outperforms him. I don't hate it. Terry McLaurin's in, Puka's in, Joe Mixon's in, JT's in. Manti has a good roster, but his record is 2-8, so he's essentially dead. If I'm Manti, I'm probably trying to load off some of these guys. Whoever I'm not keeping. I mean, good luck. You know, a lot of these playoff teams are kind of set at this point. Jake, if you had Preston's roster, I'd have a lot more faith in you.
Yeah, and also I think Josh Jacobs might enter the starting lineup for Preston here.
Probably
before the game start.
For Devontae, I guess, because he's the only person I bench.
I think so. I think against the Bears, Josh Jacobs safer bet.
Might as well.
I agree. Honestly, Jacoby Myers I'd consider playing over Devontae Adams. Jacoby Myers has been a beast ever since Devontae left. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going Lane on this one. I don't know. What do you think, Jake?
Initial reaction was Lane. I think I'm going Preston though.
I
think Stroud should
agree.
have more than this projection. I think Stroud might finally have a chance to do something, and then
I'm gonna go with you.
This is
on
what
that
we
one.
said all season. It's Preston's starting lineup. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty solid.
Yeah.
So I picked him a lot this year.
He should switch out Devontae though. I agree.
Lane, before the season started, I said that Preston was a top 3 team. Like I think I might have said the top 2. Honestly, I really liked Preston's starting roster.
You might have said that you liked this team the most.
I was a big Stroud guy, so that doesn't.
Yeah. Well, Stroud's the only piece that you worry about here, and if he can beat that projection, he has a good shot here.
And he had Laporta, like I was high on
Laporta
too. So the entire starting lineup I was feeling pretty good about. So I think I got Preston in this one.
Laner, I assume you have yourself.
Yeah, we're looking at 1 boom and 2 dooms.
That's awesome.
Good stuff. All right, next up, Cade versus Brinkman. Anthony Richardson is back, baby. The Jets is not the matchup you want Anthony Richardson to come back on. Is that why they're benching Flacco? They're just worried he's going to die?
Maybe.
That could be the case. Let me see if it says anything on like.
They won't report that. Oh man.
Flacco versus Rodgers would be all time.
I worry about BCJ with Mac Jones too. Plus BCJ's been dealing with that injury on the chest, so it's a solid matchup. You should see some action, but ever since he picked up that chest injury, he's been kind of rough to play. And Mac Jones coupled with that, I'd be trying to bench him, but I don't know if Knicks really has. Yeah, Adonai Mitchell is your other guy. So,
Does this say 0.89 for Ty Chandler?
yeah, I mean he is the RB3 on that team.
That's just crazy.
Cam Akers kind of
Having
took
a-
that job.
That's
Honestly,
just crazy having someone on your team with that low of a projection now.
I'd consider starting Adonai Mitchell over BTJ for the stack with Anthony Richardson and the hope for a bomb touchdown. When your team is as bad as Knicks is and you're kind of giving up, all you want to do is just get a fluke win over Cade to just make him mad. I think you're more likely to win with Adonai Mitchell in there. Personally, it's definitely the Brian Thomas Jr. will outscore Adonai Mitchell 9 times out of 10, but you want to win. In my opinion, that's the move. Because if that happens, all it takes is one touchdown, right? And Anthony Richardson loves doing that, right? If he scores one touchdown for like 70 yards, Nick wins, right? Because the rest of his roster is good enough to win. Chris Brown's been playing awesome. George Pickens been playing awesome. McCaffrey, Dalton Kincaid's injured. He might play. He's questionable. And Tony Pollard should be okay. Cade's team got Nico in there. Amari Cooper, you can't be confident in starting, especially against the Chiefs. So he doesn't really have any other options, so that's happening. DJ Morris may be your guy, but what's worse? Yeah, I get it. Oh, man. JSN against San Fran. DK Metcalf's can play, though, it sounds like. I'm going Nick B.
That's wild.
Yeah, baby. Embrace the chaos. Jake, you're going Cade.
I'm going Cade. Yeah.
I gotta go Nick D for the
Let's
standings.
go! Yes, yes,
Like,
yes.
yeah,
Standings.
a lot of
Lane's-
a lot of pressure on the guests. Remember,
Lane's
you guys
pulling a
talked about that.
George.
No, I gotta go for Nick so I can keep up in the standings.
He's giving him bad juju. He's going for George. He's pulling a George.
Gotcha.
How did that work out for George last week, by the way? Who was he hoping to lose? Was it Cade? Oh. I don't remember who it was. Must have been Cade, right?
Probably.
Worked out pretty good. All right. Next up, we have Jake and Greg. I got Greg. Sorry, Jake.
I'm gonna have to pick myself. I have Greg, but I'm picking myself.
I didn't pick myself.
picking myself.
So just
You know
saying.
what? I'm picking myself. I'm picking myself.
All right. I'll step through this a little bit before Lane has to make his decision. Greg has to start Tua this week. A little bit of Hawk Tua in there. I guess Baker's on bye. Yeah. I mean, Tua's got the Raiders. How's he been the past couple weeks? Oof. Not great. Raiders is a get-right game, though. That's a team you can put up points on. CeeDee Lamb, I'm worried about. Jordan Love is off the injury report, and the Bears stink, so he should have a great game. And Jaden Reed
This is
should
like
also have a great
Probably
game.
the fourth or fifth time this year where I'm feeling great about starting Jordan Love. It should be a great game.
It should be.
Hoping nothing. Yeah.
You got Dave Montgomery against the
Everyone's
Jags.
right now.
Should
The
be a great
Packers. I
game.
think everybody was healthy going into
Awesome.
this game.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Rico
He had a
Dowdle.
perfect bye week.
I worry a little bit about Rico Dowdle with the quarterback situation, but he's the guy there, so he's a fine start. Mark Andrews against the Steelers, a tough matchup. It seems like with Baltimore, in games that they have to put up a ton of points on. I don't know. I guess they just do that every week. I don't know. Feels like in games they have to win. he
Ravens
puts
are
up
just
points,
good.
right? When the other team puts up points, Mark Andrews puts up points. Yeah, Ravens are just good.
I'll probably think about starting someone else there, but
Yeah, I
as of
mean,
right now, it's Andrews.
the only other option you have is Gesicki, Icky. If T. Higgins doesn't play, Gesicki's in my opinion. But I don't know. It's probably just Mark Andrews, right? Because Mark Andrews has a higher ceiling, and if Mark Andrews has a good game, you're really mad. If Gesicki has a good game, you're not that mad. At least that's how I would look at it. I do love Tillman in the flex too.
He's been great.
He has
He's
been
really
great.
good.
Jamar Chase, Drake London, Jameer Gibbs. Oh, so it's Gibbs versus Montgomery. I'd take Montgomery in that matchup. I think he's going to get more work.
Last matchup, I think it was in this league, but when I played Greg, it unless this was in Dynasty, but I remember playing against Gibbs and Montgomery got hurt in the first quarter and Gibbs just killed me. So that one really hurt. So hopefully it doesn't happen. I think that might have been the other league actually. I think about it, but hopefully Jamar Chase used all of everything last week.
Yeah, that would be nice for
and
you. Wouldn't
only
it?
has 20 points. This
Chargers
week.
defense is a lot better. You know, they're a solid defense, and it's in LA. You know what, Jake? I've talked myself into you. I'm going Jake. Laner, who do you got?
Wow.
I feel like Jake can actually pull the upset here.
Oh, you're dead now, Jake. A three-peat, you're dead.
I can't believe this.
I wonder how many times that's happened this year and how they've done. Last week, Greg, Lane, and Nick were all picks that were three-peats, and they all won. Wow, you're in good company there, Jake. You're set. Good stuff. All right, last one. Lemons and the Curious Jorge. I mean, this is George. It's not close. Do we really need to step through this? I mean, George has A.J. Brown, Justin Jefferson, Breece Hall, Kyron Williams, Dallas Goedert, who I would probably try to bench if I could. I don't know. I guess he's been pretty good. It's funny, Dallas Goedert seems to be getting... Well, he just had a touchdown. Yeah, I worry about Dallas Goedert, but McBride's on bye, so I guess it is what it is. T. Higgins, if he plays, I don't know. I think even if T. Higgins plays, I'm probably going to start Juwan Jennings. Personally. Or
I don't trust T. Higgins at the moment, so
or
I trust
Ramondre.
Juwan Jennings.
Jennings or Ramondre, I think, are both better starts than T. Higgins because T. Higgins is the king of A, getting hurt in warm-ups, and B, getting hurt mid-game. And that's a Sunday night game. You're not going to be able to trust him. Yeah. I'm not playing T. Higgins if it's me. Jake, do you agree or disagree?
I like the Juwan Jennings option you mentioned.
Yeah. Him or
I think I'd do
Ramondre,
the
I'm
same.
fine with both. Juwan Jennings has, I mean, he had a good week last week. Seattle's a good matchup. Ramondre probably has a lower floor. He can put up 8 points, but probably a higher chance that he puts up over 20 too.
How do you feel about Mahomes starting over Burrow as of this moment?
I mean, it's just
'Cause
wrong.
I have
but
thoughts.
it's the right move for Lemons. Well, let me see. Okay, he plays in Buffalo, tough team to throw on, and Joe Burrow plays in LA, also a tough team to throw on. No T. Higgins potential. I mean, Joe Burrow's back-to-back 40-point weeks. Can you really bench him? I don't know.
I feel like this
He
is a
felt
game Mahomes
down.
wakes up for. I think he wakes up for the Buffalo games.
Maybe. He does love himself some Buffalo matchups. Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst. Both of them are tough matchups, so I get why you'd go Mahomes. But especially if T. Higgins plays, I would go Joe Burrow. And you're not going to know that because it's the night game for Joe Burrow, you're not going to know that ahead of time. I don't know. If it's me, I'm staying in the fire with Burrow back-to-back 40-point weeks. If he didn't just do what he did, I'd probably be more okay with going Mahomes. But I don't know. Mahomes isn't even good against bad defenses, man. Maybe that's your point.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's tough. Wow, Lemons' team is really bad. He's gonna get first pick, right? Yeah, 10th place. Yeah. Good for you, Mike. I mean, even Kareem Hunt's is gonna stink soon, so DK Metcalf and Brian Robinson's back, so if it's me, I'm playing him. DK Metcalf is probably back. If it's me, I'm playing him. TJ Hawkinson might be flex worthy on this roster. But none of those things are probably going to happen because I'm pretty sure at this point Lemons is just very okay losing. Get that first pick next year and pick up one of Brandon's players that he has to cut. There'll be a lot of guys on the wire next year from Brandon's team.
It's true. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that does it for this one. Lane, you have George here, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I have George.
yeah. That's kind of a no-brainer right
All
there.
right. Yeah, I already had Jake written down for George. So maybe you said that already, Jake. Maybe you didn't.
It was inferred.
I do just want to quick tabulate this real quick. I was 1, 2, 3, 4. I was 5 for 5 last week. Get dub, Jake. You
What was I?
were 3 for 5.
Ouch.
And George was also 3 for 5. You guys
I
think?
guess I picked myself. I think you must have picked
Yeah,
me too.
you and George both picked each other, and I picked against both of you.
That'll happen.
Yep, that'll do it, right? So on the season, I am 54%. Jake, you are down to 58%, and the guest is still 67.5%. Basically a full 10% better than Bofa.
Brutal.
So
Wow.
Laner picked Brandon himself, Nick, George, and Jake, I believe. So if you're one of those guys, you're feeling pretty good. And if you're Preston, you should be afraid because the guests went against both Jake and I on that one. So, sorry, Manti. Maybe I should change based on that. Holy man. All right, last thing. We got the roasts. Oh, I get to roast Jake this week. Woo! All right, Jake, I only have one thing to say to you. Jake.
You're trash at fantasy.
That's funny.
I dubbed the Lane. I don't know if you
Boom.
can you hear the
Roast.
sound bites.
Can hear of it.
Okay, good, because some people can't. Jake.
You're trash at fantasy.
I
That's
dubbed.
hilarious.
That's what I was working on before the show. That's why I was a couple minutes late. I dubbed that over.
hurts.
Yeah, Brandon will get a kick out of that because it's not him anymore. Now I have that button at the ready.
But maybe that actually just saved my season.
yeah, but
Turned Brandon's season around.
it really did. You know, it was around that time. You're welcome,
Tony
I
Brown
guess.
saved Brandon's season.
All right. Jeez. Shout out AB.
Yeah.
All right, George, I get to roast you. George, this performance is kind of how I imagine Letzi thinks of you. Adequate, but sometimes has performance issues. E.
Boom. Roasted.
I know George is pissed about that one. All right, Preston. Realistically, your roster is good enough that you could really accumulate some draft capital for next year because you're kind of dead. From what I hear, though, you're not very good at getting the deals done. As someone who works for the Purdue Athletic Department, you'd really think that you'd be a better GM. But right now, I'd take Hoffy over you. And one look at Hoffy's dynasty roster should tell you everything you need to know about his GM skills.
Boom.
That's a targeted roast that not everybody in this league is going to go for.
To remember is
Yeah,
we're dead.
better believe it, buddy. I love that drop so much, dude. Shut up, Greg. All right, Cade. This game just goes to show that no matter how good you think you are, your big bro will always be there to remind you that you're trash at fantasy.
Boom. Roasted.
Yeah, Jake.
You're trash at fantasy.
I know you didn't want to hit that button, Jake. So what I did, you would have hit that if it was
Damn
Brandon.
Yeah, I would have.
I should have did that roast first, just so you would have pressed it.
Yeah, if I pressed my own button,
That'd be hilarious.
That would have been tough.
Oh, that's funny. Damn, missed one there. All right. Last but not least.
If you had changed Boom Roasted to the We're Dead one, and then I pressed it against myself, the We're Dead, that would have been something else.
I just start changing all the buttons behind the scenes before that. That's why I'm late to the show. I'm switching all the buttons out, planning everything out in the roast, just so I can get Jake owned.
A lot goes into this, guys.
Last one, Lemons. You know, I'm starting to think that you have some sort of humiliation kink based on how the season is going. So keep your kinks to yourself, dude.
Boom. Roasted.
I have concepts of a plan.
Yeah, his concept of a plan is finishing last so he gets first pick. It's pretty straightforward.
Exactly.
He's got to lose more than Manti. Pretty easy to do. Manti's team is actually good. Somehow he just loses. It's really just CJ Stroud. If CJ Stroud was good this year, Preston would probably be a playoff team.
I agree. As the Stroud owner in the dynasty. Stroud and Laporta owner.
A Stroud boy?
Yeah. Stroud boy.
Shout out Greg again. Nice. All right. I want to thank everybody for listening. It's been a wonderful week 10. Good luck in week 11 to everybody that is not Brandon Manthai, not that he needs it, and Greg. So you guys all stink. The rest of you, good luck. Thanks for listening, everybody. Laner, as always, thanks for stopping by, dude. Always a pleasure.
Yes,
Yes,
thanks,
sir.
Ryan.
Let's go. All right. See you, everybody.